to the MVC Youth Podcast. Once again, I'm Paul.
And I'm Ted.
Just thought I'd remind you, or if you're a new listener or watcher, we're going to start off by covering a comment left by a viewer in our last episode. It's our first comment. You! Not the most positive one, but that's fine. We're going to read it out and we're going to have a bit of a discussion, like a quick discussion around it, because we thought it's important to address. So I'll just read it out to you now. It's like a thread. It was a bit of a conversation happening. So I'll just read the last one we didn't reply to. Yet you have not shown any love or care against a teenage singer whom you have besmirched with evil and devil and being anti-God. That is not what Jesus showed, not as taught in any normal Christian following. I don't know about your religious practices, but you should have at least tried to understand what the teenage artist is trying to say before attacking her and her art. Her literacy level is certainly higher than normal, but it is not beyond reach. In fact, you could have used the opportunity to educate yourself more about fears of modern teens, such as being rejected like you did. Even if you had found her lyrics problematic after a close reading, where is the love and care that you speak of? You defaulted to outright hate by bringing up evil and devil and such. This is the part that's most troubling, because it points to a disturbing lack of civility, spirituality, and fellowship. In fact, if you follow Billie Eilish's lyrics, which she co-wrote with her older brother, you will find much love and care in the siblings that you sorely lack. I'm not asking you to change your religion, but is it too much to ask not to spread hate?
Yeah, it's an interesting comment, that's for sure. So as Paul said, like just to give some context, it wasn't a comment thread, but the original comment, I mean, you can find it yourself if you really want to look at it, but we won't talk about it on here. The commenter was was just unhappy with the example that we used of Billie Eilish and how we perceive some of the themes to be problematic in the, I guess, the realm of Christianity. I feel like realm is a bad term, but I can't think of anything else. But yeah, they expressed frustration towards us at I guess, using her as an example of unhealthy themes prevalent in entertainment that we see today. I just want to go on record to say, like, we're not undermining her talent. That wasn't the point, saying that, like, she's not a bad artist or anything like that. Like, she is famous for a reason. People like her music. And so she definitely has a talent there. But, like, we have just seen themes in some of her music. While, yes, there are themes of, you know, being rejected as a teen, like you were saying, we have just seen other themes prevalent in there that suggest other things. That's not necessarily us hating on her as an artist or completely just downright, you know, being mean.
Or as an individual.
Yeah.
As a whole, yeah.
As an individual as a whole. But yeah, like, we have just, like, when you look at some of her video clips and even in some of the lyrics that she says, or I guess some of the things she may even say, like, they do contain themes of, what's the word? Satanic themes. And unfortunately, that is something that you are not going to like hearing. I totally respect your opinion. And so I just want you to understand, like, this may be a situation where we may have to agree to disagree. However, I believe a lot of the media is very similar to that. There's definitely, like, it's not just music, it's movies, TV shows, video games. Like, a lot of forms of entertainment these days definitely promote spiritually dark messages. And as a Christian, I can't put myself in a position to endorse it. Because if I'm endorsing bad themes, then I'm not doing my job as a Christian of spreading Jesus' love. Yeah.
And I think we covered most of that in the last episode. We weren't actually just talking about her, and we weren't talking about her the whole time. we use the title sort of to get the message across and make it sort of relevant for people as well. But yeah, no, I fully agree with you there.
Yeah. Also, like, I'm purely stating my opinion. I digest her music as much as, or as well as any other music or, you know, movies. I digest it in a certain way. And the way that I see her music, it just means that that has no place in my life. Like, that is not healthy for me to be listening to music with themes like that. Just a quick, you know, verse. Romans 12:2, it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." And so I guess as my spiritual life has grown, I have seen a lot of things in the modern world that aren't healthy for me spiritually. And I was just expressing that I understand that that is not healthy for my spiritual life. And just as the title, it was an embellishment. Like we weren't exactly just focusing on Billie Eilish. Like the intention wasn't to bash her the whole time. We just put it in the title because it was one of the examples that we brought up.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to say we stand by everything we said in the last episode. We did our research. It wasn't just based off purely just our own discussions on the table here. We did research beforehand. And we had discussions with friends as well. So it wasn't just our own opinions. And so that's the conclusion we came to. And just because that's the case, it doesn't mean we hate her as a person, like you were suggesting, or as this commenter was suggesting, if this person's not watching. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, if can't remember the name, but if you are interested in continuing this conversation, please email us, or you can find us on Instagram or Facebook. The links are in the description, because if you still have questions, we would love to continue the conversation. But yeah, just like send us an email or something. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, moving on to today's topic.
Moving on to the topic for today's podcast. This is definitely like one of the biggest things. I feel like I say that every week. But like, so today we're talking about materialism in today's world. That is definitely something that I have tackled again and again. I've been wrestling with almost my whole spiritual life. Like, when do I place God over or underneath like material items? And so, Paul, do you think you have an issue with materialism?
It's interesting you bring that up, because I didn't think I sort of did over time, over time, my entire life, really. I think I would get distracted, but I wouldn't call it like an obsession. I think it wouldn't completely take me away from spirituality and things like that, I don't think. But if it was like particular things, like if I wanted a new phone, I would chase things like that. I would like try to get a good deal and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely spend some time there. But yeah, if I'm being honest, materialism hasn't been like a big distraction from God, I don't think. I think it's been more so stuff we talked about last week, like the media, entertainment, and just literally spending time on other things, like with friends, experiences. Those are the things that would bring me further away from spirituality. But I don't think I had the biggest issue with materialism. No. Well, how about you?
Well, I feel like I contrast you quite a bit. I feel like most of my life, like I've always, not always, but I've often struggled with, I guess, like sneakers, like definitely. Like that is one of my biggest interests in life. And there was definitely times where I would be scrolling through like sneaker apps or like Instagram feeds and stuff. I'm just looking at shoes, looking for good deals on shoes, paying above retail for shoes because they're so fancy and limited. And yeah, like not just shoes, but I think like fashion, like clothing as well, is also something that I definitely used to struggle with. But like I previously said, it's something that like I like. There may be a time where like, you know, it's like this material or this desire to be, you know, buying the latest clothes, buying the latest sneakers, and that desire is rising higher and higher on my priorities. and then it's falling and then I kind of realize it, and so I need to refocus, and then it just happens all the time, and that is definitely one of my struggles in my spiritual walk, is letting clothing and shoes take number one spot on my mind when it should be God.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it is I always need to refocus. I mean, being a Christian is not an easy path, and I mean, you're always going to be having struggles, and I guess this is one of my many struggles. But yeah, it's definitely even at home when I should be having personal time with God. When I first wake up, sometimes I'll scroll through Instagram looking at sneaker feeds, when really I should be doing my devotions first thing. Yeah,
that's always difficult.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, but I think for me as well, waking up first thing in the morning, I've kind of set my own strategies with waking up and going to bed with devotional, kind of not having my phone on, as in connected, so on airplane mode when I'm waking up. Well, it's on airplane mode the whole night, and then I keep it on airplane mode until I actually after the shower, and then because I'm already running out of time, because I usually get up pretty late. if I get ready after the shower and turn my phone off airplane mode, I have time to do my devotional, just ignore everything else, and then continue and do Instagram and messages later.
Yeah, that's
things
cool
like that.
As.
Yeah, so I think just reordering worked a little bit for me. What have you done to sort of improve your focus?
This is I've discovered that this is really something that I can't do on my own. That is definitely something where I'm just really struggling with, and so I have started I always pray about it. That is definitely something I do, because I said, I can't do it on my own, and so I pray to God, being God, you need to give me a heart or give me a new mindset to refocus, so I'm focused on you. And also even being literally doing things as well. So sometimes if I need to refocus, I will send a bunch of clothes to op shops, just donating a bunch of clothes. So then I'm focusing too much on clothing or shoes, and so so I'll give away some clothes so I have less, and so I'm not kind of drowning myself in it. But then I mean, with my shoes, a lot of them are worth money, so I'll probably just sell them, but I'll sell them for a cheaper price, so I get rid of them a lot easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that are some strategies that I have done in the past. At the moment, I think I'm pretty good. I'm definitely in a place where I've found a good balance of still being interested in sneakers and the whole sneaker culture and the fashion culture, but then also keeping God at number one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I mean, there may come a time where that changes, and then I need to refocus. I need to be no, I can't be doing this.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty important to realize that sometimes it will go come back to that.
Yeah.
It's not a failure. I think it's happened to myself as well, not in terms of materialism, but thinking you're at a certain point in your relationship and then you get distracted again.
Yeah.
And then you got to work your way up again. I think that's pretty natural. So I don't think it's the biggest thing to stress about, although it is definitely important to get it back to where you want it to be, obviously. Yeah.
That made me think, I guess I'm kind of asking myself this question, but thinking aloud, looking for an answer from you as well, of course. But if that is a constant struggle that I'm having, if that is I'm all God is God's here, or clothing and shoes are here, but then it bumps up to here, every now and again, should I just completely eradicate that? That's kind of the journey that I'm on at the moment. I may have this good balance right now, but if I'm going to keep going back and forth, do I need to eradicate it altogether?
Well, the thing with materialism, and if you're speaking about literal material like clothing, you can't completely eradicate clothing.
No, that is true. But I mean, so I guess one of my
I know what you're trying to say.
One of my favorite brands is quite it's not expensive, but it's very hyped. A lot of people like wearing it, And so their clothes often sell out, and then they
Yeah.
sell it for a marked up price.
Yeah.
So instead of a t-shirt being $40, they might sell it for 80 or 100 or 120, depending on how much people want the shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess, should I stop not indulging, but should I stop being a part of that culture if it's going to like take over? If it's going to take number one spot? Should I stop thinking about that and just like buy clothes from, local stores and stuff like that?
Well, it's an interesting question because like there's ways you can think about it, because what do you define as number one spot? If it takes more time in the day, or if it replaces your time with your relationship with God or devotionals?
I think it's a bit of everything. Like what's on your mind the most?
Yeah.
Is it, so like, I'm just going to keep going with my example. Is it shoes, or is it God? What is taking up most of your time when you are just like living? Like, like if you're in bed, am I looking at like sneakers, or am I doing my devotions? And yeah, like I think it's a collective of different things as well. And I definitely think like if you are like on the Sabbath specifically, and if you are focusing on that rather than like spending time with God and like recharging with God, resting, then I definitely think that is a problem. Especially when like, the Sabbath is meant for a day to be set apart from all the others. And if you're thinking about, if I'm thinking about sneakers and clothes, like on that day, that's taking up number one spot.
Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, I don't struggle exactly with the exact same thing, but there's still obviously things that take up my time instead of what it should be, especially even on Sabbath. Like the things I mentioned before, like just entertainment or games or going out with friends or just food. People recently have been commenting a lot about how much I've been going out to eat. And I'm loving it, to be honest. But you're definitely right. Maybe food is my kryptonite in this context of stealing my time away, because then I get home and it's like late, and then no time for devotional. Yeah.
So no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's my personal struggles journey that I'm at the moment. But yeah, did you have a question to that? I think I might have just stolen the thunder a little bit.
No.
Went on my own tangent.
No, that's like what you said was very valid.
Yeah.
I guess, like, where do you think in today's world, where do you think like this comes from? Because I know that I am not alone in like, even not even on a spiritual level. Like, I know I'm not alone in this whole world of like obsessing over material items. Like that's not even just like a Christian. That doesn't exclusively relate to like Christianity. That does go to like other like non-Christians as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it doesn't just affect me. It affects so many other people, of just like always wanting the latest like phone, or the latest like, sneaker collaboration with, hip hop artists, like stuff like that. Like those, like everyone wants them. So it's not just an issue that I face.
Yeah. Well, I was actually going to say, like, we're comparing it against our relationship with God and how much time we spend. But it's because, you just meant, like you mentioned, it's affecting non-Christians. It's taking their time. It's what they're focusing on. So I was going to say that we're sort of, I guess, part of the crowd where we're sort of looking at the non-Christians and not acting as sheep. That's the complete wrong term, but that's the first thing that came to mind. But sort of, we're on the same journey as them in that sense. I think where it comes from, probably like you mentioned before, like Instagram, being constantly bombarded with advertising everywhere we go, finding satisfaction from all these things being a part of your life. Money is a big one as well, because they're the ones. That's the thing that enables that sort of thing to happen.
Yeah.
You're able to get your hands on these new sneakers. Yeah. And yeah, I think it's what's on my mind with that.
Yeah. I am going to continue with my kind of example.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's where I know them. That's where
Yeah.
I understand the most.
Yeah.
What I understand the most. So like looking at, social media. There are a lot of YouTubers that have huge sneaker collections. So there's this one dude. His name is Kaiso Ma, who goes by the name of Crew TV.
Mm-hmm.
He has been in YouTube for a very long time. I think he has, I'm going to say over 4 million. I know it's over 4 million. I'm not sure how much more.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribers. And he has a huge Instagram account. And yeah, so, I mean, he often does like sneaker collection videos, like his sneaker collections, because he's always updating it and he's always getting new ones, getting rid of old ones. And I think it was the start of the year. I think it was like January 9th. He uploaded a video and he said like, my $100,000 sneaker collection, $100,000. And like,
Man.
I watched the video and I was like, man, that's no joke. Like that is literally $100,000 worth of sneakers right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
And like
in like a wardrobe.
Yeah, like just like a bunch of shelves
stacked.
and like fancy cases and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But not just him. There's a dude called it's Teddy. So he has the same name as me, Ted. And he also collects sneakers as well. And I think he has over 1 million, something like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, I used to watch these guys and I used to be like, man, I want the sneakers that he's wearing. I want to get a room like filled with sneakers. I want this, I want that. Like, and it would encourage me to just desire shoes.
Yeah.
And so like, that's when I realized that I had to stop, watching their videos, because I knew that if I watched them, then I would want to spend money on sneakers and like obsess over sneakers. And I'm definitely not like that anymore. Like I've definitely grown out of this whole like obsession. Yeah. I still enjoy them, but it's no longer an obsession. And I'm really thankful for that. Like that was definitely God working in my life.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like I was watching a video of it's Teddy because I was researching this topic and I was like, why do I like kind of obsess the way I do? And I watched one of his videos, Teddy's videos, and the latest video he uploaded, he was just like, I can't do this anymore. That's what the title was, something like that. Or he's like, I'm sick of writing titles. He was in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And it was like a 45-minute video. His videos are normally like 15, 20 minutes long. So double the length. And he was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I have to get rid of my sneakers. And admittedly, he didn't get rid of all of them. Like, he literally has like 3 walls of shelves with like purely Adidas sneakers. Like, it's pretty insane.
Wow.
But yeah, he was just like, I have to get rid of them. Like, it's not my passion anymore. I'm growing up. Like that was the first video I've watched in like over 8 months. And like, he has a girlfriend now. He has a different lifestyle from what he had. And he's like, I have more important priorities. And so like the whole video was him just like preparing to like store the sneakers so he can sell them off.
Wow.
And like, I was very surprised by that actually. Like, I mean, he spent so much money, not only collecting sneakers, but spending all this money setting up a room.
Yeah, exactly. Like
dedicated
showcasing
to sneakers.
Yeah.
And like, it was kind of cool to see him grow similar to me. I thought that was quite interesting, especially someone like his whole channel, his whole YouTube channel revolved around sneakers, and he's like, I can't do it anymore. Like, it's crazy for someone to give that up, but it's like, yeah, it was cool to just see him kind of change.
Yeah.
Similar way that I have.
Yeah. I think a lot of YouTubers hold that in as well. Like they feel like they can't change who they are because they're so big. How would you say that you felt watching, not that specific video, but when you were in the desire of like when he was still doing it, like wanting that kind of lifestyle. How would watching it make you feel? Would you feel like jealous or more like just good and like excited, like 'cause you want to get them? Or
Yeah, it was kind of like,
was it positive or negative?
It was,
I'm trying to ask.
I would. I
In
mean,
the
like I
moment.
wasn't envious, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like the command, like don't covet your neighbor.
True.
And it's like don't just wish what other people have.
Yeah.
And that's that's exactly what I was doing. Like that was definitely a struggle of mine. I was thinking, man, I want like those NMD lush oranges so bad. Like that is like I feel like I have a big breadth of knowledge. I think I'm using that word right, of like sneakers.
Yeah.
And so I'll be like, I know exactly what he's wearing and I want them so bad. And the thing is, like a lot of the sneakers he had are super, super expensive. And so like me wanting them, that means I have to save up more and that means I have to spend a lot of money. And then it's like, I'm kind of thinking now looking back on it, I'm like, I could have used that money for something better. And maybe I'm not necessarily meaning like donating. But I mean, like I could have used that, to fund this more. Like I could have used that money, or I could have used that money to travel to get like new experiences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's like, I would definitely wish I had what he had. Like I was definitely desiring his lifestyle.
Yeah. And I guess he would have got a lot of hate for that. Did he sort of get a lot of backlash since people were sort of people were subscribed to him because of his content?
Of his sneakers, yeah.
Exactly.
He actually had a surprising amount of support. I mean, like more support than I expected.
Yeah.
So there were people being like, they were annoyed. They were like, man, I've been with you since day one. Like, it's so sad to see you leave. Some people were just angry for no reason.
Yeah.
But some people were like, hey, I like you for your personality, not for your sneakers. So if you were to continue, like, it's okay that you want to give up like sneakers, but please don't stop vlogging.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what some people were saying. Like, yeah. So it was definitely a very mixed reception, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And I guess he had the same sort of realization as you, like you were saying before, like it's such a similar sort of thing to sort of realize after however many years of both you and him sort of having this thing in common. Yeah.
Yeah. And just kind of going back to kind of what we were talking about before, it's like, how did I kind of grow out of this obsession? Like unsubscribing, I had to like stop myself from watching their videos because like I said, like I was desiring what he had. Like I was like, man, I really want to get those sneakers. And like he would have like every single vlog, he'd have like 3 or 4 sneakers come in for delivery, like every vlog.
Wow.
Yeah. And so like, it's hardcore. Like I tell you, like it's so much money spent on stuff that's not really that necessary. But it wasn't just that. Like there's this other dude. His name is Blake Linder. His YouTube channel is B Sneaks. He is a very young man. I think he's like only just turned 18. But I was watching his videos a couple years ago, so he was 16. And his dad was one of the most famous plastic surgeons in LA. So he is like stupid rich. And so he would go to like stores and he would spend thousands and thousands of dollars on sneakers, clothes. And I was just like, man, I want to be like him. Like I want that lifestyle. But like I'm spending my own money, whereas he was spending his dad's. Like it was a different life. We have different lifestyles, but I still wanted to be like the exact same as him. Yeah. And so it's just like if I were to do what he was doing, I would not be able to support myself. Like I would be very poor all the time. Even though I'd look good, I would be poor. I mean, I wouldn't be able to go anywhere because I wouldn't be able to pay for petrol or like fun activities to do with friends. Yeah. And so I had to like unfollow them on Instagram, unsubscribe to them on YouTube, and just like really like refocus. That's the word that I keep going back to, but it's like you have to. Yeah. Like refocusing. Yeah.
And I think it's the same with, sort of comparing it to my own experiences, since I've had different, I guess, distractions and things that I shouldn't be sort of revolving my life around. I I think it's that applies to everything. If you know, same with the last episode. If you listen, we kind of concluded that if it's not, if it is sort of taking away from what you want to be doing or what you should be doing.
Yeah, what you should be doing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to refocus,
readjust your priorities in whatever means necessary. Like I can imagine unsubscribing and like unfollowing Instagram accounts. Not the easiest thing.
Yeah, like I mean, when you say it like that, it's kind of dumb.
It is,
but it does become a part of your life.
That's
like,
right.
You just like you see all these photos and you're just like, man, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. And you're scrolling through, and then so when you unsubscribe to them, you are missing something because you're so used to it.
Yeah.
It would be a daily routine for me to watch their videos.
Yeah.
Like.
And if anything, it's just like an end of an era sort of thing. Like, oh, well,
yeah,
there goes that. Yeah.
You go.
Oh, I don't have anything to say.
Oh, well, yeah. Like, let's look at the other end.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Yep. So, yeah, that's a good point. Something I actually wanted to say was wanted to bring up was the Minimalist podcast. So that's sort of like you said, the other end of the spectrum of, I guess,
obsession.
Yeah.
Materialism.
That's right. I've heard a bit of their stuff, and I actually got told about it from one of my lecturers at uni. Actually, that she was saying that she listened to that and it was kind of changing her lifestyle, and it was really interesting because I haven't really met that many people. Like, I'm not friends with that many people who have sort of obsessions over the clothes and the sneakers, and like I know like I've known you pretty much for a long time, probably for like over a decade, and I did know you were into your sneakers, but I didn't know it was like a huge part of your life. And listening to these sort of stories from the Minimalist podcast, they would interview people like with similar, probably much more extreme cases, but they would cut out pretty much everything. And like, if they were not hoarding, but like they had just big wardrobes. And when I say big, I mean like, if you compare our wardrobes to a lot of like, I guess third world countries, like if you think about it that way, they're happy, and they get bombarded with so much less than what we get in terms of advertising and wanting, like, this is an assumption I'm making, but I'm pretty sure they're a lot happier in general, as like a whole. Like, it sounds strange, but I think a lot of people are like content.
Yeah, I think content is
not
the word
happier,
you're looking
but
for.
content, and like, even though they do want better lives, especially in third world countries, where they can't afford as much, they're a lot easier with what they have. They treat that a lot. Yeah, what I should be saying is that what they have is a lot easier to like, what's the word I'm looking for? Accept as part of their lives.
Yeah, like
easier for us. Easier for them compared to us.
Yeah, they have a lot less options, but it's just like they don't mind. Like I mean, they don't need 30 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, and some of the stories, pretty much all the stories weren't about third world countries, but they were all mainly American, and they would just have like testimonies of people who would just literally cut their wardrobe down to like three pairs, three sort of sets of clothes, and be like, this has like completely changed everything. Like, it's just so much easier, have more time in the day. Like, they're not thinking about their wardrobe options. They're not spending money on it. Some people go to the extreme of basically selling their house and just living in caravans and all that sort of stuff. And they're sort of, it improves their mental health. I think pretty much most of the people that they interviewed, it's sort of like, that's why they're interviewing them, because it's made them better off. So it's interesting hearing the other side of people sort of going to the extreme of completely like just separating from that sort of mindset, whatever it's causing, whether it's social media or whether it's just their community, their friends sort of influencing what they want. And it's like we were saying, it's people of no faith. And I think we just get caught up in the same sort of thing. We both struggle. People with faith, people with no faith struggle with the same thing. Yeah, I don't think it's all negative though. Like we were saying with the last episode, I feel like I'm repeating this a lot, but if it's not if it's not changing your values, then it's not probably the biggest concern.
Yep.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I actually was thinking about that as well. I was thinking like we are allowed to have interests. That's not what I'm trying to, I'm not saying we're not allowed to have interests such as sneakers and fashion and technology and all that stuff, and like movies and music and video games. Like, it's not that I'm not saying we can't have that, but I'm saying it just can't be a bigger priority than God is in our lives. And like you were saying, like if it's not affecting our spiritual lives, then I think we should embrace that, because that can help us connect to other people on like connect to other people that aren't in the church or that don't really know God that well. So like, yeah, like hypothetically, I've only done this once in my life, but I lined up overnight for a pair of sneakers. And a lot of people think that's really sad, but that is what a lot of people do. They line up overnight, sometimes days, at a store so they can buy a limited pair of sneakers. Yeah. And like, that's okay. Like, I'm sure if you are still 100% like keeping God as a focus, and you do those things, I'm sure God will open up opportunities for you to witness to others, for you to start the conversation of faith with others. Yeah. And like, it's like I was saying last week, if like, it's not you becoming a part of the culture, it's you reshaping the culture. Yeah. So like, if I'm going into they have what's it called? They have a thing in Adelaide, or it's Australia-wide. It's called More Than Sneakers. And it's a sneaker conference essentially. Like, people go show off their sneakers, sell sneakers. They have seminars. They have all these kinds of things. And like, you can go there and like, you can make friends and you can make connections with people. Yeah. Yeah. And then like, you can be like, hey, I like the same stuff as you, but I'm also a Christian. Like, there is something in life that I love more than my sneakers, and that's God. Like, it gives opportunity to witness. And I think without those interests, you have different interests to me. Yeah. So we have different ways of reaching out to people. And if we don't have any of those interests, then we are closing ourselves off from the rest of the world. Yeah,
that's right. And like you were saying, you meet people in those sort of, within those hobbies. I guess if you're a person with no faith, that's sort of like your own community. Like, that's what you're a part of. And that could be why it's harder to sort of get out of it, get out of that sort of loop if you think it is negative for you. Because I think, I guess literal materialistic things like sneakers and clothes, it does cost a lot of money. So I can see why people would think it's negative just off that alone. Even if it's not taking time away from anything else, just the money aspect is a big thing.
Just quickly, like, even going to back to that Instagram page, Preachers and Sneakers, that we didn't go into deep conversation about, but like, the person who runs that Instagram page, he had a conversation with one of the pastors that he featured on there. I think his name is Pastor Troy. Can't remember his last name. He's pretty big dude, quite like built. Like someone that you actually wouldn't recognize as a pastor, to be honest. Like, I mean, he's dressed head to toe in like Gucci and like Yeezys, Adidas, Nikes, like super expensive sneakers. Yeah. And he was telling a story on his Instagram story of him having a conversation with this pastor. And the pastor was saying, like, at first he was so mad because he felt as though he was being called out for, showing off his money. Yeah. Not necessarily showing off his money, but showing off his material items. And then he went on to saying, like, he actually prayed about it, and it taught him a lot about himself, and it made him refocus his, like, where he prioritizes sneakers and clothing compared to, like, God. And not just God, like helping others and, giving more and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, I mean, if you I don't want to say if you have these things, you're bad. That's definitely not what I'm saying. like, yeah, I don't know. It is something that I'm still wrestling, like this idea with like, are we still able to have expensive things while giving 100% to God?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like when you look at the prosperity gospel, oof, big yikes. Like that's not what the Bible's about.
Yeah.
But like, are we still allowed to have nice things?
Yeah. It's an interesting question because if you kind of like what I brought up before with people of non-faith, people of no faith, like just closing their sort of the amount downsizing their assets, I guess, of all that sort of stuff. What makes them, what I'm wondering about is what makes them sort of get more out of their lives. Like if there's the positive aspects, but why? What are the negative aspects of those things? Because it's probably not just money, but what are the negative aspects that are making people so much happier of people of even with no faith? Because we're comparing it with our own faith and taking our time away. But I'm interested to know a bit more about what's their impact for their own lives. I guess I should probably listen to more of that podcast because that probably has the answers. But what do you reckon? I guess just from what we're talking about now.
I think there's a few things to it. I think one is decluttering.
Yeah, true.
Just kind of like, so for me, sometimes like I've so many options that I'm happy with none of them, if that makes sense. So like, I might wear a certain pair of jeans with a certain hoodie and I'm like, oh no, this doesn't quite work. So I'll take off the jeans and put on like chinos. Like, no, that doesn't work. So I'll take off the hoodie and put on a button up shirt. No, that doesn't work. And I have so many options and it just, sometimes it takes forever for me to get ready because I'm just not happy with anything. Like I'm not happy with like the certain outfit. And so maybe like people that are, downsizing their wardrobes and even their houses and stuff like that. Like it's the lack of options. They're just like, look, I have one pair of jeans, one super nice shirt. Like I'm going out for dinner. I'll put that. Like I have a pair of dress shoes. That's what I'm wearing. Yep. Whereas if you have heaps, it's like, oh, I have 6 pairs of dress shoes. I have like 7 different pairs of chinos. I have like 20 shirts to choose from. Mm-hmm. And so like, not necessarily anxiety, but it's just like you're filling your mind up and you're like just having this internal struggle with yourself because you can't figure out what you want.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think with that, you kind of think like, oh, that's like a perfect thing that I could wear today. I think that's what your mind goes back to. It's like, there has to be something that works. And I think it's more, I don't want to be sexist, but it's not just for the males. Like we're 2 guys, but I think it's an even bigger issue for women, to be honest. Yeah. I could be wrong.
I mean, I think women have higher expectations. No, society has higher expectations on women to dress nicer.
Yeah.
And so like, though I think there's a lot of pressure on women to be doing that. Not necessarily like women have more clothes than men. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like there's pressure for them to, dress fancy. Like some women feel like they can't wear the same thing more than once a week because, society is like, hey, you wore that yesterday or you wore that on Tuesday. Like,
yeah.
But that is me making a generalization. But I mean, sometimes I feel like that as well. Like I'm like, I go to uni. I mean, earlier this week, I wore the exact same thing to uni. Well, like I go every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. I wore the exact same thing on Tuesday last week that I did the week before. And I got called out for it.
Really?
Yes. They were like, do you have any other clothes? And I'm like, what do you mean?
As if.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got called out.
Is that because like you're known to like always be different? Or is that just a standard?
I don't know. I think I was just like, hey, I'm feeling this outfit today.
Yeah.
And I just subconsciously wore it on the same day 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize it. Yeah. And so.
But why get caught out? Wow.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Sometimes my friends make fun of me. They think I try too hard.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, I think for us, because we are people of faith, I think we're aware that spending more time with God and building our relationship makes us happier and makes us live enriching lives. I guess comparing to people of no faith with downsizing and things like that. Yeah, like what you said, the decluttering. my point about the money, and probably just also refocusing on what they actually want to be spending more time on. If it's not God, it's other things, their family, and wherever they find sort of their own happiness and enrichment. I think. Yeah.
I just had a thought.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the things that really helped me overcome this whole obsession was, like, I mean, even non-Christians have this too, like, get this as well. It's like they buy these things for the satisfaction to feel good, which we briefly discussed earlier. But like, once I realized, like, I should be getting that satisfaction from God, and like I started getting that satisfaction from like growing a closer relationship with God, then all these material items like stopped being so important. Stop being so important for me, because I was just like so in love with the idea of, you know, having a God who loves me, and he's showing his love to me through like just the things that I'm getting from this world by growing with him. Yeah. Like it's, like, what are you getting satisfied, or what are you striving to get satisfaction from? Because if you're striving to get satisfaction from material items in this world, then you're always going to be chasing, like, I mean, Yeezy Boost 350s, V2s, so version 2, they come out with new colorways. Like, I mean, I think at the moment there's like 13, I'm just guessing 13 different colorways, because there's always new colorways coming out. Yeah. And so you're always going to be striving. If you love that shoe, you're going to be striving to get that next colorway, like that next color, all the time. And it's like not even that, like clothes as well. Like, I mean, the brands like Supreme and Palace, and even high-end fashion like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, they have like seasons. Next season comes in, you're going to be wanting that new Gucci sweater that costs like $1,000. Like, literally. I mean, like if you're striving for that satisfaction from material items, you're going to keep searching. You're never going to be happy. Yeah. But if you search for that satisfaction in God, like, you will definitely find content.
Yeah. And just on that as well, like with the amount of things that do come out seasonally, like even phones, like tech, I guess it's more relevant for me, I think, because that's why I brought up at the beginning. Like, I would do my research on like what's the next phone I should get and things like that. And people do line up obviously for the Apple iPhones.
For the iPhones and stuff.
Overnight for days. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
when you think about it, like people camping out in front of an Apple store for a little device that goes in their pocket for the next maybe even less than a year.
Yeah, because Apple bring out new phone. Last year they brought out, or maybe not last year, end of 2017, and then it was like halfway through 2018. Something like that. Yeah. They brought out 2 new models. Yeah, like that's less than 12 months. Yeah, and people still like you know, I know some people that trade in there, like, so like, I mean, it was the iPhone X that came out, or the iPhone 8 Plus and the X that came out, and then they traded it in to get the new XR or the new XS. Like, it's
yeah, constantly wanting.
Yeah, it's wanting the latest and greatest.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. What drives that then? Is that just human nature? Being on top, or is this a whole other conversation?
I think it is a bit like I might get a bit of backlash for this, but it's like, you know, people believe in evolution, and so like it's survival of the fittest. And I mean, having the latest and greatest phone isn't necessarily the survival of the fittest. Doesn't make you the fittest, but it makes you. It may, like, it can give you this feeling of I'm more superior to people that have an iPhone X when I have an iPhone XR. I can't remember which one is the nicer one of the 2 models. Yeah. But it's like I'm more superior, I'm greater than them because I have the latest and greatest. Like, people are going to come to me to look at my new phone. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But like
that's it. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, what I guess, like, this is to the viewers, like, what do you think? Like, how do you see materialism in your life? Because I love to hear what people have to say about that. Like, is materialism something that affects you? Because I know, like I've mentioned, like, it's definitely affected me heaps growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, even at a young age, I always liked shoes. But then I was like, wait, there's a whole community of people that love sneakers.
Yeah.
And
That makes it harder to get out of.
Yeah, definitely.
When you find people like that, it's like, oh, we both like it. We can't get out of it.
But yeah, let us know your thoughts. Like, do you think that's an issue? Do you think it's an issue in your life? Do you think it's an issue for Christians in general or society in general? Like, we want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Actually, before we wrap up, I do want to bring up something else, because I know people, if I don't bring this up, people will call me out, because I was saying, oh yeah, no, materialism hasn't been a big thing in my life. But Casey Neistat, a big
tech YouTuber.
Yep.
And influencer. He's a very big influencer.
His vlog exploded over the past few years. He doesn't vlog as much now because he doesn't do daily anymore. But off topic, boosted boards. He's been like a huge advocate for boosted boards. And if you don't know what they are, they're basically just electric skateboards, and they're quite pricey because they're factory made. Opposite of that. They're made by hand. With the love and care, as they like to say, I think. Built by hand in their sort of workshops. And just watching, I actually used to watch him all the time. So just even, I guess I can compare it to you now and say, like, watching his content, I've actually wanted a boosted board for literally since I started uni. And I would imagine myself at uni where, like, if I had a boosted board here, I can just get up this hill and I wouldn't have to go up the steps every day. This would be amazing. And I actually still want one to this day, and I might actually get one.
Yeah.
Just because, I can just imagine myself riding down the beach, this is the life.
Well, I mean, that is the conversation that we're having. Is having nice things still living a Christian lifestyle? I mean, it's finding that balance of being content with what you have by finding content with by finding the satisfaction that God gives you, rather than the boosted board or, the latest phone.
Yeah.
Or the latest sneakers.
Yeah.
Which is just, yeah.
I guess, deciding what's unhealthy and healthy for whatever you want to strive towards. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, like Ted said, we want to open up the conversation to everyone that's listening, everyone that's watching. There's different ways you can get in touch. Contact mvcyouth@gmail.com is our email. And we'll leave in the description, we'll have all the rest of the social media and other ways to get involved and interact with us. And
definitely. If you have thoughts, don't be afraid to send us a message. I mean, you can talk to us in person as well if you know us.
Yeah.
We're always excited for discussion, because it definitely helps us reflect and it helps us grow.
100%.
And even if your opinion is differing to us, that is the point of this podcast, is to learn more. So we don't necessarily just want the same opinion as ours, because then we're just I feel like that would just lead to a very closed mind if we only hear the same opinion that we have. If yours is differing to us, we want to hear it.
That's right.
We want to learn.
Yeah. And I've been loving both the good and bad feedback that we've been getting, just because we can both, I guess the person talking to us and us can both grow from our own conversations with each other.
Yeah, definitely.
I've learned more perspectives. And
I've definitely had conversations with people, after church or even by message, just talking about the topics that we talk about. And they definitely do have opinions on them. And it's just hey, I've never seen it like that before.
Yeah.
I've never seen it from your point of view. And that's so awesome. Yeah. And it's helping me grow.
And so given that, we might actually have more, I guess, discussions with people that want to hear more about that stuff. They might give us some more topic ideas. So we really encourage that. We want more of that. And
definitely.
It's been great so far. But I think it's probably a good spot to close it off.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it till next week. So thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
And like I said, we'll see you next week. See ya.
But I mean, I watched it the day it was released. I don't know. It wasn't as, I'm not a huge fan of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, except for Spider-Man. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, we're the same. Yeah. I got Spider-Man on my year 12 jumper.